Hey guys, OFSREagle here, bringing you a brand new video today. Today I'm bringing you the video of my go-to skill jumps on Truth. And I'm really excited to show you just kind of my skill jumps that I use and why they're useful to me. It seems you guys really liked my Plaza one, so I'm going to continue kind of this series going on. So the next one we have is on Truth, and there aren't as many on Truth as there are on Plaza, but the ones that I do use on Truth are very vital, and I'd say they're a lot more common. A lot of them are, probably ones you already know. I know Novacast has done a video on this, but there's a few on here that I know haven't been touched before, and if there are any more difficult ones, I'll show you how to, but for the most part, I mean, I just want to show you guys kind of what I use a lot, so you guys might be able to implement into your own gameplay if you want to, or just out of curiosity. So we're going to start out with probably the most useful one right off the bat is right here. And this one is the bread and butter for Truth. This right here is probably the big game changer. I've never noticed there was little speckles in here like that. That's cool. Anyway. Actually, that doesn't seem right. That's interesting. They're like kind of just sitting, floating. Oh, that's weird. Anyway, so what this is the jump, and I'll give you scenarios in which it's useful. So it's approachable from either side. You notice I'm doing it without a stabilize. Most people actually do it with a stabilize. I prefer not to, especially because this jump is used 90% of the time in a certain situation in which you would if you use your stabilize, it kind of ruins the whole purpose. Basically, you can do it with a stabilize. I've just practiced it enough to where I don't need to. Yeah, so what this is basically used for, if you don't know how this works, is you see on, at least on my screen, there's these like two little black spots here and here, and there's some on this side, here and here. They're actually two clamber points, and the one I'm jumping, that I'm actually clambering when I do the skill jump, is the top one. It's up here. In fact, it's a little above it. It's right at the top of this black area, so right about there. And if I jump normally, it's so weird. If I just jump normally and then I don't crouch or anything, if I'm just doing like running into the wall and jumping up, this is what you're gonna get. You're gonna actually clamber the bottom one and then the top one. If you're just have your forward on your thumbstick and just spamming clamber, right? And you're gonna do a little hop up, and if you miss it, then oh look, you got it. And that's a lot of wasted clambers. What's amazing is that, I'm spamming jump or clamber and it works, but it eats up a lot of time. What's amazing is all I have to do, because this is my jump and this is my crouch, all I have to do is press jump and crouch while moving forward, and I hit the top one, bypassing the bottom one, making it like twice as fast. And the same goes for both sides here. It's now I always kind of do it, and I'll get into it a little bit. I believe Nova went over it, but either way, if you get just like right there, and it's a very specific spot, because too much to if you like too much to one side, it won't work. Too much at an angle like this, you're actually gonna get that bottom clamber. I default to, even if I go this way, I can like turn. I'm turning my reticle into the right angle. But if I don't do that, I'm not gonna get it right. But I can approach it from this side, turn, and I'm holding crouch that entire time. I mean, here, this is what it looks like. This is my jumping crouch. I know it's hard for you to see exactly, but that's the best I can show you. So the reason why this is so valuable to me is because a lot of times you get gunfights in card 2, because you may spawn the bubble here, right? And you may peek out and you're in a gunfight. Now sometimes you may duck down this way, right? And that happens a lot. And then they're going to probably, you know, switching roles here, they're going to probably nade something like this, right? Or even do a bouncy nade like that, right? So if I'm here and I duck down and thrust, they're going to assume I'm either here about to go up the lift. I may even nade up the lift to make him think I'm doing that. All I have to do is literally come around here, jump, crouch, clamber, and if they're not already looking towards a lift or down this way, then they're even here and I'm still at a 90-degree angle to them and I still have 1 or 2 shots on them. And it's such a surprising angle. They literally just saw me. That's the thing, is that what makes it so valuable is the surprise effect. To see someone go from here, I missed it there, but from there to here is so useful. And it isn't just that angle. Obviously, it can be mirrored from this side, right? But also, especially engagements in here, you know, if someone's top mid, and that's actually, this has happened a few times. It's not as common, but let's say they're hiding behind the shield here, and they go to a grenade right here, and I duck here. They might even chase or go to peek out here. I can either, depending on what I see on the radar, if I can, or by audio cues. Let's say they're going to try to chase me from right here, right, and they're coming, pushing towards me. I can duck this way, and I have the jump lined up, and I'm already, now you can, okay, so that actually brings up a good point. You can thrust to save it. Let's say you, oh, I'm not going to make it. You can thrust in, but then you show up on radar, you hear it, and it's not as, not as, you know, it's not the preferred way, simply because it does have a little tell. But when you do it perfectly, it is so surprising, and they kind of have no idea what's coming, and it is just such a good tool to have. So if they were coming in this way, I can thrust down, because obviously they're going to think I'm about to do that, right? I'm thrusting down, and then I hop up, and they're already, now they're going to be cautious because I thrusted down. So they're either going to be floating by bubble over here, or they're going to be looking like this, right? And if I'm here, I have either the back smack, or I can just lay 3 shots on it. It's really useful. Or let's say he comes from bubble, right? And you're over here, and he shoots, and he sees you cut this way towards bubble. He might try to cut you off like this, right? And do one of these. You can do a complete role reversal. But he's going to try to cut you off down over here, and you know, it may just be a quick. The only way you may be able to tell is when you go like this. You might be able to see the last millisecond, which direction, if he's going this way, or if he kind of cuts off to the side. If he cuts off to the side, you know, I may even go like this to try to bait him to think I'm going bottom mid, and he might even try to chase. And most of the time, they're going to actually, you know, try to stop you out here. So I'm going to take play the part of the enemy real quick. He's here, right? He sees you duck towards the bubble, maybe even to the bottom of it. So he's going to cut this way. And he sees you cutting here. Okay? At first, you know, some people may just straight up chase it, and you might disappear around that side. Or he might be wise to it and realize, oh, he's going to try to do a little circle. And you're going to be right there, right? What he won't expect is this. So let's say the enemy does what I just suggested, and he's over here, and he cuts down. It may even push in this way or stay here. What I would do in that situation is literally, you can cut in and go completely around. And if you're not comfortable with getting this is where that jump comes in, and I just go and mess it up. Boom. And it's just one of those things. Even it may not even be as clear cut as that, but what may end up happening is that you actually can kind of do, you know, it's kind of like, I don't know if you've ever seen the old cartoons where like Tom and Jerry kind of like circle around a tree and then circle back at the same time, and then they're like both completely oblivious to the other. That may end up being a thing where you're kind of like circling each other and you're kind of at an impasse. You don't know what to do, and you kind of like force them to take cover behind here, and then this is your way out of it. And now you have the high ground. Anakin, don't try it. So I think that to me, I can't tell you how many times I've used this in a game. Just if I drop bottom mid, or if I see an enemy is, especially if someone's top mid, depending on the situation, if it's a 4v4 especially, if they're right here trying to get some, spawn trapping going on, you can do a grenade to try to force them back, right? But they're still gonna have that high ground. This gets them out. All of a sudden, their safety net is gone because now you can still shoot them. They're not safe behind these things. So I mean, you will find numerous applications for this. But right here, this jump, and you gotta hold. You walk up to it, press jump, hold crouch while you're mid-air, press clamber, jump. Basically span jump all the way up. After that, again, you're aiming for that second one up here, and you'll just end up using it more and more. I mean, it's so uncommon to find it in matchmaking that you'll catch like 99% of people by surprise. The next one would be, it's on the opposite side by P side, right? This right here, it's a thrust into the side, and it's very easy to mess up, as you just saw me do. Normally, if I don't, if I'm not thinking about it, I can get it. But it's also one of those things you don't want to rely on too hard because it is very easy to mess up, and I've done this hundreds of times. So that is just kind of like Coliseum. On the few jump spots in Coliseum, you can like run into this and thrust right before you meet it, and it'll throw you right up there. And it's especially useful if you're trying to make a quick getaway. It's more like the last resort, or if you're completely trying to outflank someone and they're distracted, but you really don't want to be in the middle of a gunfight in doing this. Simply because there's a high chance of missing it, and then you're just airborne and a sitting duck for a while. So I will use it, let's say if I know that a teammate is called out, that someone's trying to push into car, or P2, and we have no one top mid, right? Or if we need to either side, either P2 or top mid, this is a quick way to do it. Just like that. And you're kind of put like wherever you need to go. You can either go top mid, or you can go P2 to do a cutoff, right? Because that's also another thing is there's not, especially let's say you're on red side, you're on red team, and blue team spawns over here, and they're pushing this way. The only visual cue they're gonna have is really from blue 1 and blue 2, and if no one's looking at that, they're not gonna expect someone to be up there. And like as you can see, it's a tricky one, but to be here already, not a lot of them expect that, especially because on red side, and it's the same vice versa, but especially on red side, you can be, the fastest way to push out mid is from here, which they normally see from this angle, right? But you do it from this way. Now again, you don't want to expend your thrust too early, or else you won't be able to do the jump, right? Like that, they're not going to expect someone right here, so they can go push up and they just walk into a nade, and then they're going to back up and you can finish them out here. So, and it's from both sides. This side is a little harder, even more so. But yeah, so let's see if I can hit it. Yeah. So yeah, so that one, it's not as useful, but I do it really off the spawn at the start of a game, and if there's really no one else around me. I don't want an enemy looking at me and seeing me doing it, because they can just land a lot of shots, because it does take a little time to do that. My next go-to, this one you guys probably already know, but this I don't really use it as much. Surprisingly, I actually just walk right up it. If I have to clamber, I will, but there's actually a nice little sweet spot that you can just get the same effect just walking up, not doing anything else. This one I use all the time. This is very, very useful. Not as useful as this guy, but still. Like that. And what it does, it's very useful. It's a little knacky. It takes a little bit of practice. I actually found it out not from Nova, but Ryan Noob. When he was with Allegiance years ago, he made a video, and I discovered it through this. Basically, how it works, you probably don't know about this one. You can actually, you can kind of do it from standing, but if you take the time to line up my frame from yours, and then use that as a reference point, it's really hard to describe verbally. So what it is, I jump, hold, crouch. Like the moment I press jump, I then hold crouch, and then I spam clamber, and just copy where my reticle is looking. I'm looking right at the edge of this guy the whole time. And the reason why this is so useful is that you can literally go, and it's very easy to mess up. So it's going to take a lot of practice. I don't know how, I really don't know how to best, share it with you guys. So just watch what I'm doing, and then you can copy it as well. It's literally just jump, crouch, clamber. I'm going to try to say that at the speed at which I'm doing it. Jump, crouch, clamber. And the real important thing is that you have to have a button layout that allows you to jump and turn at the same time. I don't think it's even possible. I'm so used to. I'm trying to do it the old way, where people do this. I don't know if I can. It's one of those things where the moment. Yeah, I don't think you basically have to have a button layout that allows you to turn and press jump or clamber at the exact same time, or else this really won't be possible. Yeah, so with that, that's this jump, and the reason why it's so useful, this is also a big engagement area. You get, especially in Capture the Flag, you get people who will have the flag and kind of drop, waiting for their flag to return, or they'll even start to push you. They'll drop down, you're weak, or even from this angle. Basically, any angle down here, if you're at this area in blue 1, they're gonna push you. Boom! You're completely scot-free. It is absolutely wonderful. And then from that, you can go to a window or whatever. But it's a very knacky one. I like it simply because it's a very counterintuitive. This is why we have a lift. There's a reason why we have a lift right there, is because you're not supposed to be able to go from that to here, but it works really well. Also, along the same vein, I don't use it as much. Most people do this to get up there. You can actually jump, hold, crouch, clamber. If you look at, I'm shooting, I jump right about there, and I jump, hold, crouch, clamber at that speed, jump, hold, crouch, clamber, and I get it, and that's why this mechanic works. There's one I'll do every once in a while, but it's definitely not my go-to, is you can actually thrust off of these things on either side, and then you can get like a clamber up here. You're very exposed. For here, it's really impractical because you're a sitting duck. But if you do want to get something like kind of sneaky to window, you can. But it's very loud. People can see you on the radar, see it coming. It's not as useful. In any case, I'd much rather just do this, because you're completely off the radar. You can get a stick, and then it's it's what you're trying to do to begin with. So one more. Oh, this is a big one. Right there, the exact same mechanic that I'm using here, of that timing where it's jump, hold, crouch, clamber. I'm doing exactly right here. Jump, hold, crouch, clamber, and I'm now on the other side of mid. Because sometimes you get people chasing you or something like that, or you camos top mid or something. A lot of times you get people who kind of sit actually up here, right, and kind of wait for. I mean, they may do something like this, especially if they see someone going here and they go down this way, they might do this, right? If that happens, it's a timing thing. Now I'll shoot at the ground where I jump. Right there is about where I jump. Yep. And so let me shoot that. Yeah, that's about right there. Along that part. So if you jump, hold, crouch, turn, and clamber, you can really do a 180 on someone, and they really won't expect it. It's just so useful. I've done, and it's really useful in 1v1s, not as much 4v4s, 2v2s, yeah. It's very situational 4v4s, but in 1v1s, especially because you have no one else to really worry about, this is so, so confusing to the enemy team. I mean, yeah, I love it. Just to be able to go this way, and then immediately do a 180, and then even, something like that. So with that, that's going to end my video on Truth for my go-to skill jumps. If you have any questions or have difficulty doing them, let me know, and I'll be more than happy to give you a few pointers or whatever. And yeah, so I hope you found it useful. Let me know if you knew any of these, if you didn't, if you found anything new, or if there's ones that you use a lot that you didn't see me cover. Let me know. And yeah, so with that, I will leave you guys. Peace, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.